Welcome to Fueled by Intentions, where we talk about faith, family, finances, fitness, and fun. Sponsored by Bynum's Business Solutions, where the right fit is made simple. We specialize in tips, tools, and strategies designed to help you achieve your financial health so that you can take control of how you spend your money so that you can spend more time with your family, friends, and doing the things you love. So let's jump right into the video. Hello, loved ones. Thank you for joining us today. And if you're new to the channel, then welcome to the family. Today, we will be reviewing Married at First Sight, Season 14, Episode 9. And we have back again with us, Brother John Solomon. John, how are you doing today?
I am doing outstanding today. I'm looking forward to reviewing the show.
Awesome. It is so wonderful to have you with us today. So you know what? We are just going to jump right into it. We're going to start off like we always do, reviewing the title of the episode. And this episode was called, Is Love on the Table? So John, did you think that the title represented what we saw within the episode?
Yes, I did, because the ultimate word is love. And it seems like that was a word that the men were, as normal, running from, and the women were looking forward to. So for this particular show, I think that is correct. Is love on the table?
Yes, I agree with you. I did think it was an appropriate title. I love that everybody was able to explore if love was on the table for each couple. Each couple reviewed it and talked about love being on the table. For some it was, and for some it was not. So let's get right into our review. We will start with our first couple, Noe and Steve. What did you think about them this week?
You know what? I thought after last week that this week was a refreshing week. I like the fact that Noe planned a treasure scavenger hunt for her husband, Steve. And I like that all the clues happened to do with certain events that they had experienced in the past, and, you know, certain loving events. And it allowed him to, as he was searching for her, really, in this particular case, searching for her heart. In so doing, he was reviewing the past experiences that they've had on the show. And he finally captured her and everything like that. I mean, I think he felt really good because he saw how much attention she had been paying to their relationship and their progress. And I thought that was really good.
Yes, I enjoyed Noe and Steve this week as well. I did like the treasure hunt. I like that she took in consideration his adventurous nature. It was really cute because when they found each other and they began to take selfies together, the little picture that they took looked like a mini Polaroid. I'm like, oh my God, where did they get, I'm sure it's a new camera now that makes it look like the little Polaroid with the bottom where we used to write. It just took me back down memory lane. What I really enjoyed about both of them is the events that they planned for each other. They took the other person into consideration. When he did the picnic for Noe, it was a recreation of, her third day. Now they're on 3 weeks. I love that he proclaimed his love to her at that time. She gave him the response that he was looking for by just a wonderful embrace. And I agree with her that this is the first time that she said, I love you to him. Because last time she said that I'm falling, I'm falling for you. She didn't say just like, I love you. And it was a question asked by the producers. So I really love that intimate moment. I don't know for sure if I wanted Noe to get it though, because when they had the girls trip and she was like, well, he loves me. I'm thinking, come on now, girl, it's been only 3 weeks. I don't know why that is so important to her, but I was glad it ended that way. I love that when she was with the women and he was with the men, that they both recounted the situation the same. and they both came to an agreement as to what happened, even though they were telling the story separately, that he really felt like he was being emotional. He hoped that he got through to her, and she said that he did. And in that conversation, Noe said, I know the changes that I need to make. And I love accountability. Take accountability for yourself. So I love their overall vibe today. Another thing that Noe said when she was with the females is that when you marry somebody, you marry their, childhood, you marry their trauma, like basically the whole person. And I think that sometimes we do forget that, which we will see when we're looking at JASMINA and Michael, that we do marry the whole person. So I really like the interactions that they had separately and together. And I'm really glad that Noe now got her I love you. So now we will move on down to our next couple, and we will discuss JASMINA and Michael. What did you think about JASMINA and Michael this week?
Man, it was good. This week, Michael was making an attempt to basically get to JASMINA's heart, and him having the picnic, he really not only purchased but also made a gift for her dog. So he was trying to win her affections through her dog, which she loved, she loved so much. So it was funny because when Michael had first mentioned the gift at the picnic, JASMINA would say, "Oh, you have a gift for me?" And I think it was a little bit of a disappointment, but she said, "Okay, I understand, that he had a gift for her dog, but he didn't throw in a gift also for her." So I thought that was funny. I think everything was going so well until Michael asked her that question: how can I communicate better with you? And right then, that took JASMINA back to the place where Michael had really pissed her off in terms of the tone that he used when he had talked to her one time. And it seems like it had still festered her because it went completely out of the setting. And it was like she was back on guard, back in attack mode on that particular question. Well, you need to know how to talk to me and stuff like that. So it really took away. And I think at that point in time, she really didn't get the way he was asking. He was asking it for information so he could better communicate to her so that they wouldn't have a volatile relationship. Find a way so we won't have to be arguing so much. How can I talk to you? In what way would you prefer to be talked to, so we could avoid these flare-ups? And JASMINA at that time took it the wrong way. She was purely on attack mode. So I thought that kind of ruined the picnic. She ruined what he was trying to do.
For me, when JASMINA and Michael were at the picnic, I really saw JASMINA as a mean girl. I'm just shocked. And it made me question her previous statement about him talking mean and rude to her. Because even in this conversation, when she's like, "You have a tone," I'm like, that's the tone? You the one with the tone? Like, yeah, he is passionate about what he's saying, but you are rude and disrespectful with your tone and with your words. For one thing, I did not like that she did not put the bib on the dog, because he was all like, "Try the bib on the dog." He was really excited about it. And at first, it wasn't a big deal to me, because when I watched it the first time, I didn't realize that he actually made the bib. I thought it was just a bib he bought.
Yes.
But when I saw that he spent his time making this little bib for this dog, and you can't even put it on the dog, I thought that was rude. I thought he was really trying to take in consideration her and what she would want and her feelings for that.
Uh-huh.
And I really did not like how she was, when he said, how should I communicate with you? And she was like, communication, basic communicate, everybody. And I loved his answer, because I was like, oh my God, you have to be careful about the words you use, because when you tell somebody everybody knows a basic communication, that is demeaning to that other person. That is an insult to the other person. And I like that he did get passionate, but he remained calm and he explained it. You know, depending on who your family is, how you've been raised, the communication that I'm having with you would be acceptable to other people. So I'm asking, how do I communicate with you? And I thought that he was trying so hard and trying to make it better. And the thing is that you can't ask me to be vulnerable with you, and then when I am vulnerable with you, you chop my head off, because I'm trying to ask you, you know, I'm trying to be vulnerable and take responsibility for the things that have happened with us in the past, and say, what can I do to better that? That's vulnerability. But when you cut me down because I did and call me basic, you don't know basic, that is not going to encourage anybody to open up. And you could tell he was so hurt about it in his interview, and he was just trying to move past it and move on. But at this point, I'm really looking at JASMINA as the issue in that relationship. I think that her tone and the word phrasing that she uses just not do them justice.
Now we're going to move on to the intimacy game that the matchmakers had for them. And in the case of JASMINA and Michael, you know, they were doing these exercise games, and you know, she was supposed to be a fitness coach and a trainer and everything, and she's going through these cycles of games. But what she was actually able to do is she was able to get Michael to talk about, you know, some painful experiences that he had in his life, and the experiences of death, you know, with his brother, his mother, his grandmother, and so forth. And I mean, as soon as he started talking about you know, death and how it occurred with his brother and stuff like that, it was such a painful experience until, you know, he just broke down, and she comforted him, and it was the first time that she saw that he would allow her in to this point of vulnerability. And he told her he really didn't like to be vulnerable because it made him feel weak. You know, men aren't supposed to cry, but she was saying, basically, no, I got your back. And that was really, really revealing. And I thought that was good.
I like that she shed a tear at the end in her interview. Well, almost to shedding a tear, because that showed me that she did have empathy, and she could, you know, you got to have empathy for people when they're going through. And I love what Michael said at the end. He said, that was a good one. And I feel like that is, you know, sometimes you just gotta let it out. And I love that he shared with her that he had went to, that it had been the anniversary, and that he had went and visited his brother and paid his respects. I like that he shared that with her as well. But what I do not like is I see it as JASMINA wanting Michael to be vulnerable, and she brings that up quite a bit. He said he was going to be vulnerable, and he's not being vulnerable, and he should just be vulnerable. And if he asks me a question, and next time, I feel like she is wanting him to make the effort, but she is not making an effort, and she is not being vulnerable. I didn't hear anything about her that would indicate that of her vulnerability. So you're asking him to open up, but you got to open up too, so that you can be vulnerable together. And that, I think, is going to help them. But I don't see her trying on her part to be vulnerable to him.
Well, you know, they asked each other questions about, you know, have you ever been in love, and how many times have you ever been in love? and what told you, what was the indicator that let you know that you were in love. And Michael told her that he was only in love twice. I think once with a high school mate, and then I think with his last date. And I think that he said they became friends, and he trusted her and stuff like that, and he was able to be vulnerable. And that's one thing that you know trust is really big, on his plate. And Jasmina, hers was the way that she was treated. When a person treats her with love and respect, basically with respect, and treats her in a courteous and kind way and stuff like that. That's what she calls love. And I believe she told me Michael said he had been in love once and a possible one, and she said that she had been in love 3 times and a possible. So I thought that was good, but most of the times hers was based on the way that the men treated her, the way that they talked to her in a respectful way and stuff like that. So she was sending hints to Michael that way. And basically he sent the hint back to her, but his was trust. I gotta feel, like I trust a person, that I've spent some time with them, and that I trust them enough to show my vulnerability. So I thought that was good.
I did like that in both of their activities, they took each other into consideration. So he
Yes.
took her into consideration by including her dog, and
Yes.
she took him into consideration by doing it as a personal trainer. I like the JASMINA gym with a J. I
Yes.
thought I like when they take in the other person's personality if they're planning something for them. So I thought they both did a great job there. Well, we will move on down to our next couple, and our next couple will be Lindsey and Mark. What do you have to say about this couple?
Well, it's funny because now the scene opens up with Lindsey and Mark, and Mark is about to prepare some hamburgers, and he asked Lindsey how would she like her hamburger, and she told him, that she liked it medium well, and he cooks it, and he asked her how's the burger, and she tells him it tastes like leather. But she said it's dry as leather, but you know what? I'm giving you an E for effort. I'm giving you an E for effort. So I thought that was good. It wasn't to her liking. She let him know it, but she let him know it in a loving way, in a loving, supportive way. So I thought that was pretty good. But we also learned that Lindsey was still upset about the way that Mark responded to her in the bowling incident from last week. And she was still harboring bad feelings about that. And what I found so disturbing on that is she was talking about the way that Mark treated her, and that Mark couldn't see how she had supported him, and all the things that she had went out of her way for him. He couldn't see that. But Mark also told her, and you're blind to how you speak to not only me, but how you speak in public to other people in a very condescending and offending way. You're blind to that. And she couldn't recognize that. And I found that to be very interesting, very telling. But I found out that Lindsey wasn't looking. He was telling her the truth, but she was in such a defensive posture until she didn't hear what he was saying. So that's what I found out about what I thought about that part of their experience.
I think Lindsey is missing it all. She is so unaware. She does not have a clue.
Mm-hmm.
When the scene opened up, it was so funny. It was getting on my nerves because I think they did this on purpose. Mark, he was eating, and it was so much noise. Clink, clink. And I'm sure maybe they block that out in other scenes when they want, the mic to be heard. But it seemed like, there was really going on, and he was really being that noisy because Lindsay was kind of like looking like, like cut it out. I'm like, does it take all that? I'm like, it was so much. I'm like, oh my God, my nerves are getting bad. Like, does it take all that to eat? But that was just beside the point. I don't think Lindsay has a clue. He was trying to tell her what his thing was. And of course she's like, I. She was telling him, all you're saying is I. But I think that everything she said to him is really goes back to her. And
yes, it was a mirror.
Yeah, she never got it. In the whole episode, she never got it because he allowed her to express herself as to what she needed, and she needed affirmation. She asked him a great question: what do you like about me? And I love that question because you do need to know, what do you like about me? But he gave her exactly what she asked for, which is affirmation. He gave it to her then, he gave it to her at their dinner, but she never gave him what he needed, which is assurance that you are going to be careful what you say when you're talking to me or anybody else in a public setting. She had no clue. And when he said, do you think that you did anything wrong last night? And she said, no.
Nope.
I'm like, did you not remember you just cussed him out like a new one? And you demeaned his character? But maybe she doesn't realize, maybe she's like Alyssa, and she doesn't realize that she had a mic on and this is gonna be heard and you're screaming so he can hear you outside. Maybe she thought that was all a private conversation like we would do in real life. But I thought she was so unaware, and the thing is that she thinks she's doing so much for Mark. And she's like, your life is in chaos. And he's like, not really. And she's like, I hope you can get some awareness. I'm thinking, I hope you can get some awareness because you are not aware of what you look like and what you're doing to him. And I don't care if she made his mom's appointment, which I praised her for last week. I think it was great. You put on a hazmat suit and all this kind of stuff. Those are good things and they're positive, but he doesn't, he appreciates it, I'm sure, but that's not meaningful to him as meaningful as her controlling her mouth and her temper. And one thing that was so telling to me is she said, I am being nice to you because I feel like you deserve it. But I'm like, don't you just be nice to somebody because you're a nice person and so you extend, like, why come you, okay, I'm being nice to you because you deserve it. I'm not going to be nice because you don't. Like, I feel like you should just be nice to people because that's who you are, regardless of who they are. So for her to qualify that, like, I'm being nice to you because you, I just don't think she gets it at all. She has no, and then I think he likes the 1%. When she was like, you know what, I'm just going to be a 1%. Well, if the 1% is quieter and more subdued than the full package, give me the 1%. And I loved his answer because he's just like, well, we can build from the 1%. So I thought his responses were right on. I think that I like the 1% Lindsay because she did really good in the girls' trip. She let other people speak. Only thing she did in this episode was inappropriate is some of her cameos. She would say something inappropriate, but her interaction with everybody that I saw her interacted with was great on this episode. I didn't like that she was making Mark take the food, no, he said, I don't want it. Well, I'm going to order for you anyway. Yes. I don't like when people try to impose what they like or like their values on you. And in there, she called him a little kid. Well, he's just a little kid, a little bitty baby. That's an insult to me. I think that that is an insult to me. And I'm just like, and even though she thought he was being insulting to her when he said, you deep down inside, I don't think he was. But I agree with him. Deep down inside, I believe Lindsay is a great person, but she just needs to control the shell of it all. And then she will be able to make it work and have better relationships with everyone that she's around.
Yeah. And like you said earlier, you speak condescendingly to people, and she continued to do that to him. So, yeah, I mean, he said, you don't hear yourself, and you see that she did it again, but she didn't hear it.
Nope. I do like their activities. I like that they both took in consideration each other. He took it. She likes sushi. I'm gonna take her to sushi. He plays baseball. I'm gonna take him to baseball in the adventure park. So I do like that they thought about each other when they were planning the activities. And then I did not like what she said about him. She doesn't listen. Because when he said about him being in love, and then he said, well, he went on to one girlfriend, but he looked back and was like, wait a minute, I gave up a good thing. Well, he's not, until somebody dumps him. He doesn't, that's not what he said. And do you know how many people who go back to a relationship, just because you move on and you wipe the slate clean and you never reflect on the decisions that you made, because you never reflect at all, doesn't mean other people do or don't, So I just think that every time he says something, she does not hear or get the meaning as to what he's really saying. And that bothers me.
And I think what's big and telling about that is men want to be respected. Women want to be loved. Men want to be respected. And the way that she talks to him is she doesn't respect him, or she doesn't seem to respect him as a man. And I think that also will go with the part of really knowing her role. Her role is supposed to be more a supportive role, and she wants to play the more dominant role. And I think that still may affect them in the future. The last thing I have for them is, at dinner, Mark really showed Lindsay that she was valued. He really let her know that he saw the support that she had been giving him. He saw how she had really tried to help him in difficult situations in his relationship, especially with the apartment, especially with his mother. And he wanted her to know that he sees the effort that she's making, and he wanted her to know that he appreciated her for that. And I think that was really good, because I saw that when he told her that, she was appreciative. She was appreciative because she didn't think that he saw the effort that she had made. And I think Mark's taking it from the standpoint now that if I really show her that I do see what she's actually doing, maybe she'll start listening to what I have to say in terms of what will help us improve our relationship.
Interesting. I really see Mark as the stronger person in that relationship, because I feel like when you don't have to get your need met, because he bended and gave her what she needed.
Yes.
He never did get what he needed. And I think that he just went along with eating and stuff like that because he doesn't want the hassle. He doesn't want the fight that it's going to cause if I say, I don't want to eat the sushi, I don't want to try the, but who wants to live like that, where you're just avoiding a major conflict even over the choices of food that you have for yourself? Not that you're denying her. You took her to her favorite place, and then just let him eat what he wants, and encourage him to try. But I feel like she forced it, and I don't think that that's gonna make for a lasting relationship.
I agree. She was forcing him out of his comfort zone, but he played along. But like you said, I think that he's doing it just to see if she's going to give him if she's going to make the changes that are needed for their relationship to prosper. And if she doesn't, I don't see this relationship as moving on.
We are moving on to our last couple, which is KATINA and OLAJAWON. What do you have for them?
Woo! Katina and Olajuwon. You know what? I was looking at this, and before I just said, you know what? This is the couple. This is the couple. I mean, I'm looking at Marriage at First Sight, and if any couple's gonna make it, this is the couple. And then Olajuwon throws a curve on me. This week, what does Olajuwon do? Olajuwon, first, he goes to the guys and he tells the guys how it's not working for him, how he's having such a difficult time with Katina, basically fitting in the mold that he would want her to be in, you know, fitting in that cooking mode, that traditional woman, cook, clean the house, and cater to all of my needs. He's having a difficult time molding her into that perfect wife. In fact, when Katina and Olajuwon were together, Olajuwon asked Katina, maybe, or says to Katina, maybe you and I have a different definition of what a wife should be. What do you think is the definition of a wife? And I found that very disturbing, because when I look at it, everything seems to be all about Olajuwon and what he thinks would fit the perfect picture in his mind of a wife, not even asking Katina what would be in her mind the perfect picture of a husband, because he doesn't fit that, but he doesn't look at that. He has that blind spot. So I found that to be very telling in terms of Olajuwon. I think that he doesn't understand really the value of Katina. And I think that what's needed in this relationship, and I'm hoping that it will occur, because Katina is a strong woman, and I think that if she puts on the brakes and let him know, what he has the possibility of losing, I think that will bring Olajuwon back down to earth.
Well, for me, I thought it was very telling that he did not want to know what she thought about being a husband. And he's so full of himself.
Yes.
You want me, you like me, you in love with me. And then he gonna tell her, yeah, love is not on the table for me. You are, basically he said, you're not good enough for me. And I'm evaluating whether I'm going to choose you or not, as if he is the prize. I'm like, do you really think you're the prize? And then for him to be mad at her because she didn't physically go get the stuff. And I don't know if that's a big deal, but I got the stuff there. And I hate when people say, because people do it to me too, well, you're working from home. Yeah, but I'm at work. So when I'm working from home and I'm working from home, I can't just work from home at the store. I got to work at home. I'm working. It's not like she's sitting there all day doing nothing, or she's on vacation. She is working. She is literally working. And I don't think people understand that from working at home. We're working. So I can't wash the clothes and do the dishes and all. I'm working. Is it only thing I don't have is a drive, and maybe on my lunch break or on my 15 minutes, I can do something in the house, but I'm still working. And this is one of my pet peeves, when he was like, I swept the floor for you. How are you gonna sweep our floor for me? It's our floor. It's our house. When you clean it, that's like when men say, well, I was babysitting my kids. No, you can't babysit. You're not a babysitter. You are caring for your kids. You're not babysitting them. They're your kids.
Right.
So it's like, it's your house. So yeah, you can sweep our mop a couple of times, and it's okay if I go to bed and you mop this time. Next time you go to bed and I mop. He act like he is doing her a favor. And it's just so telling about how self-absorbed when he plans a date for her that benefits him. And then he says,
Yes.
well, I'm going to join in and I'm not going to have her do it. But you're joining in because this is something you want. It's something that you want and you're trying to be an example. I feel like he was trying to be her parent or something like that. Like that's how you talk to your kid, not your wife. And
Yes.
when she told him the story about her ex-boyfriend and why she doesn't cry, I didn't think he showed any empathy at all. Well, you shouldn't let people change you. Just like, really? I just thought, and I love Katina when she said, I just need a minute. Because like, you don't want to act crazy on camera. And I know she was like, because I'm like, girl, cuss him out. That's what you should do. And I don't even cuss, but cuss him out. And she's like, I need a minute. And I feel like he broke her down, you know, because now she's crying and she does not feel worthy, but she's willing to try. You know, I'm going to try, and I'm going to, what I hear you saying is you want me to cook more, and I'm going to try to do that. And I admire her. Some people may think that is weak or whatever, but I admire her because I think that when you are married, you should try to find out what those key things are for that your husband, and try to do those things if you can. And sad to say, and you may rip me a new one for this, but sad to say that I think a lot of men have the sentiment of Olajuwon. We just don't get to see it on our TVs in our face. But a lot of men I know who their wives like, he doesn't like a dish in the sink. You know, when he comes home, he wants the dinner on the table. Okay, I gotta, in expecting the wife, whether you work or not, for you to be the wife. And I never hear us talk about being husbands. So I think that it was hard for me to take. It was hard for me to see. But I think that what Olajuwon expressed is indicative of a lot of husbands.
He expressed that he was not taking her feelings under consideration. And see, I don't think that's right. Like, for instance, when she told Olajuwon the way that she was mistreated, verbally mistreated by her former boyfriend, which was the reason why she didn't cry, he continued, Olajuwon, to verbally belittle her.
He did.
So when I look at that, it's, you know, just like we were talking about Lindsey earlier, not listening, the same thing with Olajuwon. He was so stuck on himself. You know how when you're having a conversation with someone and you're not even listening to what they're saying because you have a rebuttal that you want to put out there. So you didn't even hear what they said. You just got your rebuttal armed and ready to. That's exactly what happened with Olajuwon. She told him exactly what happened in a formal relationship, why she really didn't cry, why she made it her business to say, okay, if you think that's weak, I'm not going to show you that side of me anymore. And she didn't. Okay, so he realized, hey, I got a strong Black woman here. Yet he belittles her. And I couldn't, you know, I couldn't understand, man, you said to your friend earlier how she has your back and everything like that, how you know, how you felt around her. She was so special until you treated her better than you treated other women, at least from your friend's standpoint. He said, man, this girl must really be something because you feel this way about her, and then you belittle her as though she doesn't have any value. That's disturbing. That's disturbing.
I felt really sad for Katina, for a man to make you feel like you got to earn him and he's the prize and you're nothing. And if you notice, we didn't see what he did for her was for himself because he wanted her to learn to cook. So he took her to a cooking lesson. That was for him. That had nothing to do with her.
Okay, if you think I'm just a liability and I don't bring any value to our relationship and you're just the asset and, you know, I should be happy to have you, then this relationship is not going to work. And I just think that she should let him know that basically she should show him how valuable she really is to their relationship. And then he talked about her maturity, you
Ooh.
know, as an adult or something. You see, when you start making comments like that, oh, slices like that, oh no, oh no. So I think I'm hoping, I'm praying honestly that she picked up on a lot of the stuff that he was saying, not as a sign of weakness on her part, but it strengthened her to say, okay, at first I was a little bit guarded because of, for some reason, but now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how strong I really am. And you've seen some of the ways that I was strong, but watch how strong I'm going to become on this particular relationship. She gets strong enough where she feels that, okay, you know what? If you don't value me, then this relationship is not going to work. When she gets that strong and she's willing to lose him, okay, if he doesn't value her, then she'll be at the point where she will gain his respect. And if she doesn't, he wasn't the man for her.
Well, it was so funny when he said, well, if something happens to me, I need to make sure that you can make it. And I wish she had said, I've only known you for 3 weeks. What did you think I was doing before you got here? Personally, I feel like if my husband said that to me, there would be some weight, there would be some value, okay, yes. I want to make sure if something happens to me, I've been with the man for 24 and a half years. Okay. Yeah. But I've been knowing you for 3 weeks and you didn't find me dead laying on the street halfway, down and out,
yes.
So it's like, what do you mean? I've been making it. But when you use those key words, I don't know if you've learned to be an adult or like when JASMINA says, basic communication like that. Those are very alarming words that puts the other person on a defense mode,
yes.
And yes. I love that she did not attack back. I love that. And she said it. She said, you know what? I'm not going to sit here and try to convince you about my womanhood. I forgot the word she used, but she verbalized it because most of us would be like, I know you didn't, I am this and she's like, I'm not going to sit here and have to try to defend myself. I'm not try to defend myself, but basically she was saying, yes, I'm not going to sit here and defend myself, which is good because that's when you just start going tit for tat. She's much more mature than I would have been because I would have went in and defended myself and it would have been worse. And I probably would have looked worse on TV too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was really, really, really sad for her. I did like when they were in there, the guys were together and the young ladies were together, that they all came to the same conclusion. Like, you know what? We're all having issues. And I feel like this has been a really good group because in their group discussions, it appears that all of them are really trying and all of them really want it to work. Usually it's that one couple, Alyssa and Chris, who don't want it to work or don't. Like last year, Ryan and Brett, I feel like they were just kind of there. They're like, we already kind of know, but we're going to walk through this anyway. But it looks like all of them, at the core of who they are, they want it to work. All right, so that wraps up our couple review for the week. So who do you have for your yes on decision day predictions for this week?
I will go with Noe and Steve, JASMINA and Michael, and I will go with KATINA and OLAJAWON as a possible.
Oh, you're gonna do the spades this week? Okay, 2 and a possible. I'm gonna go with Noe and Steve. I'm gonna stick with Lindsay and Mark. I think that somehow they're gonna make it to decision day, yes, because they keep re-engaging even though it's toxic. And I'm gonna keep KATINA and OLAJAWON. I think that they will say yes on decision day because they do have a passion for one another. Well, that puts this episode in the books. But what are your thoughts? Please shout out in the comment section below. Who are your yes on decision day predictions? What did you think about the theme? Love is on the table. What did you think about JASMINA and the gym? Did you think Lindsey had a clue? Were you appalled by OLAJAWON? Well, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Now for our fuel for the week. Believe it or not, our fuel for the week is the shortest Bible verse in the Bible. It is John 11:35, and it simply says, Jesus wept. And it is inspired by Michael and his love for his brother. And it is in honor of Michael and his brother and the love that they had between one another. I too have experienced and understand the heartbreak of loss. And I just want everyone to know that it is okay to cry for those who we love, who are not here with us anymore. I personally believe that it is a compliment to cry over those who are gone. Because if you leave and nobody notices that you're gone, what impact did you have here on earth? So find a way to honor those who you love, who have gone on, and be sure that you know that it is okay. Even Jesus wept. When that scripture says that Jesus wept, he cried over the death of Lazarus, even though he knew he was gonna raise him from the dead. He still wept and showed that human emotion of love for his fellow brothers. We should have that same love. And if you are a Christian and you have had a loved one who died in Christ, just remember that we do not grieve without hope, but we grieve with hope, knowing that we will see our loved one again. So me, just like Michael, this year I have lost my sister on June 4th, which was a great heartache, but I grieve with hope, and so should you. So remember, grieving is a sign of love for those who have gone on before us. If you want to see a video that may help you, I'll leave one in the end card that you can watch about grieving with hope in honor of my sister. But Michael, if you're watching this video, our heart goes out for you for the many losses that you've had. We will definitely continue to just keep you in love and light. Thank you, John. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Please like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, live with intention. Be intentional.